Alright, Naya tokens. This is a deck we played a few times before. One of the things I really like about this archetype is that we have 8 1-drops that are both really good. This deck's pretty reasonable at flipping Legions landing on turn 3 also, which is awesome because we play both Saproling Migration and Goblin Instigator. One card I've been a little bit medium on is Legion Warboss. This card's kind of hit or miss. There are some matchups where it's really good, but there's other matchups where it leaves a lot to be desired. I think there's a possibility that this card could be better relegated to the sideboard in some amount, and maybe like more Shalai or some other good token-based 3-drop that we could think about, or more Goblin Instigator could be good. This card tends to leave a bit to be desired in matches like Sultai or other creature-based matchups where tokens just like run in and get themselves killed every turn. I don't know how to feel about this. Listen, there's nothing wrong with good customer service, Holy Flat. Alright. This is probably a mulligan. None of our good 1-drops. Double tap land. Sand is reasonable. I would love a 3rd land. Hey, thanks for the quarter of your Adidas. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your weekend and a great Friday. Favorite card? Favorite foil card so far? Probably Seraph of the Scales. That card's just great in general. Is there a Merfolk Trickster in my future? Yikes. It's unfortunate. Poor little Saproling Migration. How does this deck square up against mono blue? Probably poorly in a draw like this. Especially when they were on the play here. We have some aggressive draws. So again, the decks that tend to be good against mono blue aren't decks that are super interactive. They tend to be the decks that are more linear. Decks that can race it. Unfortunately, we don't have a draw that's particularly aggressive, and my opponent is sitting here drawing a bunch of extra cards, so I think we are likely more dead than not. I think we're pretty unlikely to resolve another meaningful spell. Our Huatli, unfortunately, not going to accomplish a whole lot here. Hey, V-Ballo, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. This is for the Esper Angels build. Will do. Thanks for the support. Yeah, we're pretty dead here. To be decide if hero plus heroic reinforcements was viable. I mean, it seems more than reasonable, but I don't know that I have a specific shell that I really like it in. I guess 4-color hero is a deck we played a little bit of where it seemed fine. I guess 4-color hero would be my answer. So it's not a matchup where they're blocking a lot, so Conclave Guildmage comes out. Definitely want to bring in some cheap removal and ways to interact with their creatures. It's probably just trim Huatli. Is the line here? I think she's the worst of our top end. Trim a couple Warboss here as well. Our fast Growth Chamber Guardian starts, or fast History of Benalia starts are really what we're looking for in this matchup. Want to be able to put a lot of pressure into play ASAP and run them down. Follow them up with heroic reinforcements or something along those lines. I did note that when I looked at it, Marty. So I think, so it's funny. So this is why they do actually test some things, right? Do you want to know why I'm pretty sure Eldritch Evolution exiles itself? Because I'm not sure a lot of people have thought this hard about it. No, that is 0% the reason. It's Goblin Dark Dwellers. Goblin Dark Dwellers and Eldritch Evolution were in Standard at the same time. So if Eldritch Evolution didn't exile itself, you could Eldritch Evolution a 3-drop into a 7-drop in Standard, which would not have been okay. Oh, you know, this is a mistake, actually. I should have, because they're tapped down to 1 land here, I should have gone Instigator plus Llanowar Elves. Goblin Dark Dwellers is a 5-mana 4/4 that flashes back a card that costs 3 or less from your graveyard. I'm very confident that that card is the reason why. Yeah, I definitely should have done this last turn, I think. This plus the elf. We'll see what they do here. If they counter this, I'm going to play Growth Chamber Guardian. If they don't counter that, I'm going to play Llanowar Elves in a tap land. And then next turn now, I can play Growth Chamber Guardian to bait a counterspell, and then follow it up with Heroic Reinforcements if they counter this. And if they don't counter this, I'll then just make this a 4/4. Which is great. Tempest Shin, sure. Alright, well, Tempest Shin means all they could have is Spell Pierce, right? So I probably just want to go Heroic Reinforcements. If I go Heroic Reinforcements, I hit them for 10 and they have to chump block here. That sounds great. Oh, this is awkward. So now they don't have to chump here, right? They can take 2 and go to 1. But I'm pretty unlikely to die next turn, right? So putting them to 1 still seems like a win for me. Because, like, I have 5 lethal attackers. Whitstone, thanks for the 3 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday wherever you're at in the world. How many Merfolk Tricksters do you have? So, if they have Merfolk Trickster, they tap one of my things and they still take 1, right? Because they put me down to 4 attackers and they have 3 blockers. So unsummoned's not legal, it'll kill you. And that was such a good highlighting of talking about like how this matchup can actually be good, right? Like that instance of we're actually applying pressure here. We're not trying to be super interactive. Miss, 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 miss. Sweet. What are my opinions on climb decks at the moment? They're fine. Teamer Climb's one of the decks I'm thinking about playing at the event I'm playing on Thursday. Alright, they found a second land. So I think I definitely just want to hit them for 2 here. The question becomes, do I want to play around Spell Pierce? I don't think I can afford to. I think I just need to get the most pressure into play ASAP. I think Sultai Climb, specifically, is taking the wrong approach for Climb because it's not aggressive enough. I think it's misassessing the role that Climb has as an archetype. So I don't really want to play this Knight of Autumn into... So while it would be nice to get the Knight of Autumn into play with the history popping off next turn, I don't want to let them use a counterspell this turn. They have a bounce spell. That would be really bad for me. No, just Merfolk Trickster. Okay, sure. I don't have an extra thing next turn. That's fine. Whoa, they targeted the knight by mistake? What? Sure. Nothing wrong with doing more digital magic and less paper. Digital magic's great. This really aggressive attack's a bit scary. I assume we're going to see another Merfolk Trickster happen next turn. Hopefully this Knight of Autumn gaining us 4 will be able to push us up over the top. I'm attacking for 12, so they need to have like an Entrancing Melody or a bounce spell or something here. That's another History of Benalia, okay. Well, I'm going to enter combat and see what happens here. I assume we're going to see a Merfolk Trickster tap one of my things. And then again, I think we're actually in an okay spot here because of what I mentioned earlier, which is that I kind of just am pressuring them out of the game, right? So, like, they go to 8 here. I'm definitely playing this. And the question is, I think I just gained 4 here. I definitely want to play this. I guess I could play this as a 4-3, because that's a lethal. Then I have 3 lethal attackers next turn. Is it better to play it as a 4-3, so that way I have lethal attackers? That leaves me dead to exactly land sleep, but I'm not beating land sleep regardless, so I think that's the line. I think it's this plus a 4-3. Like, even if I gain 4, land sleep is winning the race. So I think I'd rather just have 3 guys with 4 power next turn. Yep, sweet. All right, I'm gonna push around a couple things here really quick. I think I want to get these Legion Warbosses out of here into the sideboard probably. I'm not convinced that Huatli's actually good the more I play this. I think I want to just put more like staple good cards in here. Like Tithe Taker seems good. Like Heroic Reinforcement seems fine. I think these Guild Mages are probably too cute. A couple of Knights in the main deck is probably not a terrible idea. I'll put another Shalai in. Divine Visitation's not a playable card. I think I'm going to leave 2 Legion Warboss in the sideboard before we want to pressure him. I'm going to leave a couple Huatlis in here because they were interesting the last time we played it. I'm not quite 100% sure how I feel about her in general. Tithe Taker. Tithe Taker's just like another good magic card. Let's give this a go. You want to swap Ajani and Huatli? I can see that. This card's like super reasonable with our other 2s here. We have a bunch of good 2s to get back, and like it has synergy with Growth Chamber Guardian too. It's like another Anthem style effect here. The History of Ajani curve is really good. I don't know about your study. People keep mentioning her. Is she better than Knight of Autumn? I don't know. Knight of Autumn's super flexible. It has some synergy with history. I have a couple of sideboard slots now if I move the Ajanis into the main. I'm gonna throw Tristani in the board for now. She's fine against like the what's it called decks. Good versus, yeah, the Hostage Taker Thief of Sanity decks is the words that I'm searching for. I might want more white sources. You are not currently sub, G-Man. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 white sources. Yeah, one more white might not be a terrible idea, he says as he looks at a hand that needs white mana. You're actually not currently sub, G-Man. You just can still chat because you have a sword next to your name. So moderators can still chat on sub-only mode. I think I'm actually going to keep that. Lets me go elf into elf plus a 2-drop on 2. You stay in the ugly corner, Saproling Migration. You know what you did. I assume we're losing this or this turn. Put it mulligan to 5, but has a good Esper start. G-Man, if your prime is something you haven't used yet, and I would check in your settings to see who it says your prime's been used on. Twitch has been having a big issue lately of people having their accounts getting broken into. Probably from password dumps from various other sites that get hacked and people lining up usernames. I'd recommend changing your password and probably enabling 2-factor authentication. Zachary, thanks for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I don't think I want to play another thing. Like, do I want to play into a sweeper here? I'm not sure that I do. Like, I have my Adanto first fork going. I think I'm just going to pass. There's really no reason for me to play anything else out here, I don't think. Redarock, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. And there's a lot of great people. You can chip your Bezo bucks to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending them my way this month. We're basically just not casting a spell until they clear my board. Just going to keep adding a 1/1 every turn. I know I had someone trigger the 2-factor on my account, but they didn't get in because I had 2-factor enabled. Esper control, doing Esper control things. All right, what am I cutting here? I think Shalai is probably a good trim here. Night of Autumn's a little bit medium. I might have too many cards for control in my sideboard. I wonder if this is a matchup where I cut Llanowar Elves. Although Llanowar Elves helping flip Legion's Landing is a big deal. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, Hippity. Do I just cut Elves? Cutting Elves might be the answer. It could be that Cindervines doesn't come in here too. I'd believe that. Shalai stops discard, but by the time you play your 4-drop, they've played their discard spells. Try this, I think. Actually, I'm going to leave a Shalai in because this blocks, Actually, I want to bring the Tristani in because she negates Hostage Taker and Thief of Sanity if they bring it in. Alright, let's do that. Pretty easy mulligan here. It's got 2 non-foil cards in it, so it's pretty hideous. Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's definitely fine. Don't want a 5th land. That was an excellent draw. Noblest of dorks. Thanks for making my work less boring. Can't wait to see what the stream does with War of the Spark. Well, thanks for the 2 months support. I appreciate that. Yeah, the opponent's username is Haumf, but unless Cheon no longer works for Wizards of the Coast, I'm pretty sure WotC employees have a special color for their username. So it's probably just a Cheon fan or someone that wants to impersonate him, I would imagine. Unless Paul was recently no longer works for WotC. Yeah. Read. Mythic Orange names are specifically only MTGA employees, not all WotC employees. And good to know, I guess. Things are not looking good for our hero here. I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in... It's possible I'm supposed to bring in Conclave Tribunal in the face of Hostage Taker. I could see that being the case. If I draw a land next turn, I can go Tithe Taker into reinforcements. Well, I did board in Tristani. He says as he draws her. I could just want a second Tristani in the board for these blue-black decks. If they have a 6th land, they could play the 6th land, cast the Growth Chamber Guardian, cast Kaya's Wrath, clear the board. Because they don't just want a Kaya's Wrath because then I get the Growth Chamber Guardian back. Looks like the line. Alright, so land is very good for us. I think I just killed Teferi here.
Only time will tell.
That's really good. So hoping to draw a 2-drop next turn, so that way we can Adonto plus play a 2-mana spell. Okay, let's bring in Conclave Tribunal, I think. Am I going to not board in Spyglass then? Yeah, I think I'm going to not board in Spyglass. This gets taken by Hostage Taker too. Yeah, let's do that. Worth noting, 5 mana Huatli also kills Hostage Taker, which is sweet. Good flexibility there. I like how Hate Bear has become so generic, it just, like, doesn't even include 2/2s anymore. Although I guess we call Thalia a Hate Bear, and she's a 2/1, so I guess a 2/3 is not that far of a stretch. Stretch. Bloop, 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 bloop. This hand's very good if it draws a white source. Let's do it, and do it, and do it, and do it again. This curve is very good, because this demands a removal spell that they need to play right away. And if they spend a removal spell on this, then history has a window to resolve, which is great. So they have the removal spell. The question is, do they have Cry of the Canarium? Deal. Alright, so we want to draw Heroic Reinforcements here. Any 4-mana spell would do, but Heroic Reinforcements would be ideal. Now we're probably dead if they draw a Sweeper. We're basically out of gas at this point. Yep. Anus Fish, thank you for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good Friday. Oh, Twitch usernames. One of the things that you have to accept, and this is one of the reasons why Esper Control feels... Oh, I wanted to put another white source in the mana base, right? Okay, I wanted to put another white source in the mana base. There really isn't a good way to get another white source in the mana base. I guess I could cut a red source, but there's already only 12 red sources in here. To fit another white source in, I'd have to cut one of our turn 1 green sources, which kind of sucks. I think it's necessary, though. Yeah, so, like, 12 is already on the low end for, like, casting Llanowar Elf on turn 1 consistently is the problem. So, like, going down to 11 there. So, like, every small change you make comes at a cost. I did put a second Tristani on the board. At Clifftop and cut a Crag. I guess I could go down on a green source overall. Like, how many green does that leave me at? Leave me at, like, 14 green. I believe, I believe, I believe. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. The 8-barrel alignment chart. Rude. Survey says, ding, ding, ding. Our Saproling Migration deck, probably not great against the Chain Whirler deck. block here because I want to play Migration next turn. I also don't want them to be able to enable their what's it called? Alright, do you have a whirly boy? Always, never not. I don't think Naya is very good in this format, Party Bus Driver. That's why you can't find any builds on my website. I think most of the Naya decks get stuck in this kind of middling zone where they're not quite aggressive enough to apply pressure under the mid-range decks, and they don't have the card advantage necessary to be a successful mid-range deck in the format. Alright, let's cut a bunch of these things that are dead to Chain Whirler. Heroic Reinforcements out too. I think I just want to pull up in this matchup. I'm going to bring in a Cindervines to keep Frenzy off the table. No matter how clever you're trying to be in deck construct, the new move with the Eldritch Revolution is going to be go get Growth Chamber Guardian. I don't know, maybe. Lack of Honor Guards in the board might be a mistake in this build too. Sand's very pretty. I don't have every foil card on my account. People have donated and cheered for lots of foils, but I don't have all of them. I'm also not sure offhand if Huatli has a foil or not. If they attack, I'm going to block. Just want to keep them from lighting up the stage. When is the all-foil deck coming? We played it yesterday morning. It was Abs and Angels. You can find it on the YouTube channel now. Second, Growth Chamber Guardian's a great draw here, because it means I can play out this first one into a removal spell and not care that it's about to die. I'm not just activating this because I don't want it to die in response. Now I'm going to activate it. They did in fact have the thing. Hate Bears was never a viable Modern deck. What you need to understand about Modern is a format. Most Magic that is played by casual Magic players and people just looking to have fun. And a deck like Hate Bears often sees play, even though it's not good, because it has cards that people love playing, because people play Magic for more reasons other than just trying to give themselves the best possible chance to win. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, if you really love playing a deck, there's nothing wrong with playing it even if it's not the best deck in the format, or if it's not super competitive. A lot of people aren't, like, trying to win a Grand Prix. They're, like, you know, just trying to have fun at FNM. And then when a tournament comes to town, like, they're like, oh, this is the deck I played at FNM. I'll just go play that there. So one of the things I always find interesting about people when they talk about, like, things that are good, bad, and otherwise in Magic the Gathering is people seem to so readily agree that good players with good decks can do well in can do poorly in tournaments because Magic has a lot of variance. But the flip side seems very difficult for a lot of people to accept or wrap their head around, which is that it's very possible for bad players with bad decks to do well in tournaments because variance exists. I think I'm actually just going to Conclave Tribunal their thing here to use my mana for the turn. They exiled a Lava Coil with this light up the stage, so I'd rather not play out any of these into a Lava Coil. Growth Chamber Guardian was one of the worst draws in our deck there. I think I'm just going to play this out as a gain 4. Really wanted to draw a green source that turn, so that way I could set up to growth plus fart the following turn. Yeah, it's really not Arsenics. And, like, as someone who's, like, done well in tournaments with decks that I think are garbage before, like, I can't tell you the number of times, like, I top-8'd, you know, a 50, 60, or sometimes even a 100-player tournament, 100-plus player tournament, and, like, after I got done playing in the top 8, I was like, this deck was bad, and I'll never play it again. It's like, well, you top 8, it's like, sure, but, like, I ran good, got good matchups, etc. It doesn't mean the deck was good. So, incredibly punished for my decisions to be aggressive with my Knight of Autumn and my Conclave Tribunal. Very likely going to lose me the game here. Of course, they're getting so much value off the Frenzy this turn, it probably doesn't matter if I had a way to kill it, because they're just going to, like, plow through us. M. Cherry10, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday and a good start to your weekend. Yeah, it didn't really matter that I burned my stuff. We're dead. I'm gonna give this one more try, but I think it might be time to retire Naya for the season. I don't think I have any other Naya decks in the queue, and I don't think we're gonna try any more in Standard until War drops. Naya, we have Naya 3 and Dinos. We'll play that one because it's a meme, but the rest of these decks are just... The Naya color combination just doesn't really have the tools to be successful in this format. You're not aggressive enough, you're not controlling enough, you just come up short in too many directions. Yeah, the way this deck is built, it's real Rancid against Goblin Shade Whirler. Not a good scene. Yeah, I think the way you could definitely build a Naya deck to have some good matchups in the format. The problem is just that there's too many things pulling you in too many different directions, right? So, like, if you build your Naya deck to be good against aggro, for instance, you're likely going to have a very Rancid Control and Nexus of Fate matchup, and because these decks don't have the tools to board into, like, counter spells and discard spells, you really don't have the ability to fix something like that, like you do in other mid-range decks in the format. And, like, this deck's trying to be an aggressively slanted deck, but then it unsuccessfully accomplishes that as well. Your mid-range decks have to have a very specific subset of tools to be playable against those other decks and not have access to duress or counter spells. Well, they were missing a land last turn. I think I'm supposed to no blocks here, so that way I can flip this Legion's Landing next turn. This does open them up, obviously, to be able to like light up the stage, but it is what it is. Are we just like shooting two of my things? That's rude. This makes Goblin Chain Whirler less scary, though, which is nice. I'm doing all right, Tom. Life is swell. No blocks. Not losing Shalai to a single burn spell here. You want to kill her, spend 2 cards. How badly do we want to lose to Goblin Chainwhirler? Pretty badly? I think pretty badly is the answer. Non-Prime subs auto-renew by default unless you change your settings. Prime subscriptions do not auto-renew. I'm excited to build a lot of Planeswalker decks next season and then just concede every match that we play against Wilderness Reclamation because we won't have a chance. Yes, yeah, next turn, that's why I went all in there. Next turn, I could attack, respond to my Legion's Landing trigger by floating a mana, flip it, and then activate Shalai. So that's why I went all in there. No, Go Heals, that does actually work. So you put on full control mode, and then in your declare attacker step, you respond to the trigger flipping the new one by floating mana, and then it flips still in your declare attacker step, and you activate your Shalai. I'll put Legion Warboss in so it doesn't die to Whirly Boy. I'm super pumped tonight. Gonna finally free myself and play some Esper and FNM. I've been a control player since Artier / Thero Standard. I was playing Blue-White Miracles and Legacy. Esper control is very good. If you hit your land drops and have your colors, Esper control is usually unbeatable. It's just the games in between where your deck doesn't work that you don't win. His hand's a little slow on the draw, but it's hard to pass up double history for me when they mulligan. Like, history into Ajani, like, it's a pretty solid curve. Hopefully we draw 1 or a 2 drop on our first couple turns. Baffling End is a fantastic draw. Get to curve right on out here. Notably, too, this hand is really good against Goblin Chainwhirler, which is a plus. It's an excellent target for Baffling End. We're basically committed to playing Baffling End this turn regardless of what they play, just because we want to, like, use our mana, since we have these history lines up, so getting a good target for it's a real plus. Baffling End is definitely one of the premium removal spells for white in this format, if you don't have access to other colors. Tristani's a good curve topper, too. It might be history Tristani if we hit a 5th land on time. Alright, everything's coming up Millhouse. What was the reason for cutting her? She just wasn't performing well. She's an individually low power level card. Well then. Sorry, Tristani. Would you like to trade? I think I'm okay trading. And they don't know that I want to... It's important that I attack here before I play the second history. Because if they know the second history is coming, they're more likely to want to block. Do I Tristani next turn, or do I just play the 3rd history? It might just be play the 3rd history, honestly. It probably depends on how many knights are left alive. Like, if they kill 2 of my knights here, I probably want to play history. Like, they're choked on mana here. This attack seems really... I think I just want to double block here. I guess that lets them clear with the Fanatical Firebrand. I guess that lets them clear with this, right? But, like, if I double block, can they catch back up? They can't, right? I feel like I'm okay with that. I feel like if I clear these, they're like, they just can't come back. Like, if my hand was worse, I might not take that trade, but my hand is, like, really good. Are you going to learn from history, opponent, or are you doomed to repeat it? Mikey, again, you're no stranger here. If we weren't in sub-only mode, I'd have timed you out for that. Why is Tristani the play there? Help me understand. Don't just tell me I'm wrong. Educate, inform, help people grow and become better players. I think it's better to play history there because it sets me up. Okay, so I'm just getting rid of you. Get out of here. I think my play has higher upsides. Don't tell me buzzwords. Be specific. Your play has higher upside because... So let's take, for example, what happened here. My opponent played Goblin Chainwhirler. If I'd have played Tristani the previous turn, these tokens wouldn't have been able to attack, and I'd only have attacked with 1/5/4 there and not be set up for this bigger turn here. So I actually think your play has much lower upside against a variety of cards they could play out here. Because getting more damage into play from the Knights is much higher upside in the long term. Alright, so I got a couple of choices here. Huatli's down tick actually makes things not be able to block. So I could make the Rekindling Phoenix not block. Alternatively, I could Ajani plus and make these 6/5 Knights and then smack in with both of them. But the awkward part of that is they then just get to chump block one with the Phoenix and then probably chump block the other with the Gitu Lava Runner. Any number of target creatures. Oh, it does split it up, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. I forgot she could divide damage. Okay. I thought she could only hit one thing. I didn't actually know what she... I knew she stopped things from blocking. I forgot that she could do it to multiple things. I forgot she could do it to multiple things. Now my opponent thinks we're slow rolling them. And not that I'm an idiot. I'm just an idiot. I apologize, opponent, if you come back and watch this. I wasn't rolling slowly. I'm just dumb. Yeah, Huatli, the 5-mana Huatli is a really interesting card. And if there were better red-white decks in this format, I think she'd see a little bit of play. Like, her +2 is really good against aggro, right? And even just a chain of 3/3s is good. And she's, like, fine against control, because making 3/3s is really good against control, but her down ticks also kill Hostage Taker and Thief of Sanity, which is nice. Jin, thanks for the 27 months. Good to see you around. 5 CMC is rough for her abilities. I don't know strictly about that. She's pretty flexible in a lot of different situations. Well, I appreciate it, Jin. Thanks for keeping me around. 27 months is a long time. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap Naya for the day. I'm not a huge fan of these So token splashing heroic reinforcement, something I was kind of interested in doing last set when it got better mana, but it just feels like this, as far as like mid-range aggro is concerned, heroic reinforcements doesn't feel like it's quite enough of a punch up over the top to really get this deck going places. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of that specifically. Like, another thing that's tough is, like, these colors tend to have hard times interacting with things like Wilderness Reclamation, and honestly, a big issue is that you're kind of soft to Goblin Chainwhirler too. Like, we have a lot of X1s in our deck. So, someone mentioned March in chat. Like, March is a card that, like, theoretically lets you go over the top of people, but, like, if you're in a situation where your March is good, you probably have a big board anyways, and at that point, like, why did I need the March? Like, the March only helped my board that was already big get bigger. Well, if I had a big board, I should probably be getting ahead. I should probably already be ahead, sorry. Let's move along to 4 color skies.